creepiest Japanese folklore creatures you've never heard of. And don't forget to subscribe. We're about to hit 10,000 subscribers. According to Japanese folklore, if you were traveling alone near a quiet river or a lonely coastline, you might come across a woman standing silently by the water. She had long, wet black hair that covered most of her face, and from a distance, she looked like an ordinary person. But getting closer was a mistake. This mysterious creature was known as the Nure Onna, which literally means wet woman. While different regions describe her differently, she is most often portrayed with the head of a woman and the long body of a giant snake. Her most famous legend begins with a simple request. As travelers passed by, the Nure Onna would gently ask them to hold her baby for just a moment. It sounded harmless, and refusing a mother carrying a child felt almost impossible. But the instant someone accepted the baby, everything changed. The child became heavier and heavier. Within moments, it weighed so much that the traveler could barely move. Some stories say the baby transformed into a massive stone, while others claim it clung to the victim with supernatural strength, making escape impossible. That was exactly what the Nure Onna had been waiting for. With her victim unable to run, she revealed her true form. Her long serpent body emerged from beneath her robes, and she attacked before the terrified traveler had any chance to escape. Not every version of the legend tells the same ending. In some regions, the Nure Onna simply devoured her victims. In others, she drained their blood using a long tongue, making her one of the most feared creatures lurking near Japan's rivers and coastlines. Because of stories like these, people were often warned to be cautious around lonely stretches of water, especially if they encountered strangers behaving strangely. I have to admit, using a helpless baby as a trap is what makes this creature so unsettling. It's such a simple trick, but once you know the legend, it's hard to forget. Imagine you're sailing across the ocean late at night. The sea has been calm for hours, and the only sound is the gentle splash of water against your ship. Then, everything goes silent. The wind disappears. The waves stop moving. Even the air feels different. As you look across the dark water, another boat slowly emerges from the fog. Several people are standing on it. They don't wave. They don't ask for help. They simply stare. According to Japanese folklore, these ghostly figures are known as the funayure, the restless spirits of sailors and fishermen who drowned at sea. Long ago, many people believed that anyone who died in the ocean without a proper burial could never find peace. Instead, their souls remained trapped on the water, forever wandering the place where they lost their lives. Legends say they would quietly approach passing ships and politely ask the crew for a single wooden ladle. It seemed like such a small request that most sailors never suspected anything was wrong. But the moment they handed it over, the spirits began scooping seawater into the ship. Again, and again, and again. No matter how fast the crew tried to throw the water back into the sea, the ship slowly became heavier. Panic spread across the deck as the water continued to rise, until the vessel finally disappeared beneath the waves. Some stories say the people who drowned didn't simply vanish. They became funayure themselves, joining the endless line of ghostly sailors drifting through the darkness, waiting for another ship to cross their path. As these stories spread through Japan's coastal villages, sailors began searching for ways to survive an encounter. One of the most famous traditions was carrying a wooden ladle with the bottom cut out. If a funayure demanded a ladle, they would hand over the broken one instead. The spirits would keep trying to scoop water into the ship, but every drop would fall straight through the hole, making their efforts useless. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite ghost stories from the sea. It's simple, but somehow that makes it even creepier. Anyway, let's move on to the next creature. This mysterious yokai is known as the Mikoshi Nudo, one of Japan's strangest supernatural beings. At first, it appears no taller than an ordinary person, but the moment someone raises their eyes to look at it, it begins to grow. Its neck stretches higher, its body becomes taller. The more the traveler looks up, the larger the creature becomes, rising so high that its head disappears into the night sky. No matter how far back the victim leans, the giant only continues growing. But that isn't just a frightening display. It's a trap. According to the legend, the traveler becomes so focused on following the creature's growing head that they eventually lose their balance and fall backwards. Before they can recover, the Mikoshi Nudo suddenly lunges forward and tears into their throat with its sharp teeth. Other versions of the story are just as terrifying. Some say anyone who tried to ignore the yokai or run away would be crushed beneath its enormous body or pierced by bamboo branches and spears that appeared around them. Very few people were believed to survive an encounter. Fortunately, folklore also tells of one way to escape. Instead of staring upward in fear, experienced travelers were said to look at the creature from its head down to its feet, refusing to fall for its trick. Then they would confidently declare, "I knew your trick." The moment those words were spoken, the Mikoshi Nudo lost its power. Frustrated that its illusion had failed, the giant vanished into the darkness, allowing the traveler to continue safely. Whether this legend was created to warn people about traveling alone at night or simply to tell a chilling ghost story, no one can say for certain, but I have to admit, a monster that turns your own curiosity against you is far creepier than one that simply attacks. Deep within Japan's mountain forests, there is said to be a yokai that never hunts on the ground. Instead, it waits silently in the treetops. Hidden among the branches, it watches the path below, remaining completely motionless until someone passes underneath. Then, it drops. This is Tsurube Otoshi, a mysterious forest yokai whose name means bucket drop, referring to the sudden way a well bucket falls into a dark well. Just like its name, the creature was believed to plunge from the trees with almost no warning. Its appearance isn't the same in every legend. Some describe it as a gigantic human head with tangled hair, bulging eyes, and an unsettling grin. Others portray it as a monstrous spirit concealed among the branches, making it nearly impossible to spot before it attacks. Despite these differences, every version tells the same story. Tsurube Otoshi lives high in tall trees along lonely mountain roads and forest trails. It remains perfectly still, waiting patiently for an unsuspecting traveler to walk beneath its hiding place. The moment someone enters its reach, it suddenly crashes down from above. Some old stories claim the impact was powerful enough to kill a person instantly. Others say it would stop just short of its victim, terrifying them before disappearing back into the canopy as quickly as it had appeared. Because these tales were passed down through different regions of Japan, no one knows which version is the original. Was Tsurube Otoshi a deadly predator, or simply a mischievous yokai that delighted in scaring people? No one knows. But perhaps that's exactly why its legend has endured for centuries. If something is waiting above you, you probably won't know it's there until it's already falling. For centuries, strange stories spread through Japan's mountain villages about a tree that no one could explain. People didn't fear it because it attacked travelers. They feared it because it shouldn't have existed at all. Hidden somewhere deep within the forest was a tree unlike any other. At first glance, it looked completely ordinary, but the closer people walked toward it, the more they realized something was terribly wrong. Its branches were covered with human faces, not carved into the bark, not hanging like masks. They were growing from the tree itself. Some wore peaceful smiles. Others suddenly laughed for no reason, their voices echoing through the silent forest. The sound was so unexpected that many travelers turned around before ever getting close enough to see the tree clearly. This bizarre yokai became known as the Jinmenju, or the human-faced tree. And unlike most creatures in Japanese folklore, no one could agree on what those faces really were. Were they spirits? Were they part of the tree? Or had they always been there? The legend never gives an answer. As if the tree wasn't mysterious enough, it was also said to produce a rare fruit. According to the folklore, the fruit was perfectly safe to eat and incredibly sweet. But picking it was another story. The moment someone reached toward the branches, every face began laughing at once. Imagine hearing dozens of human voices laughing above your head in the middle of an empty forest. Most people decided the fruit simply wasn't worth it.